walk this way into my garage and we'll see what I've been doing since last time. Stage I'm at with this car is I've replaced every bit of woodwork that you can see, essentially. In fact, there isn't a piece of woodwork on this part of the car that hasn't been renewed. It's purely a decorative effect. It don't really add much, so I've been wasting my time really. But inside here, the parts inside here and under that weight dashboard have just left bare, and you can see them when the car's in service. When we stripped this car, this seat were rubbing on these panels and damaged them. And that's when, even after I've stripped it, it's still evident if you go from that side that this is going to rub. Can you see it? So it's rubbing now, and there isn't even a panel on it. Take this out here so it doesn't rub as much while I'm doing it. I don't know whether I'll be successful. If you remember, that's the damage it did. Can you see that and that? Because they go together like that. That's the damage that spring had done, and I want to try and eliminate it. It was relatively cheap material, but really all that wear there is where you've had to slide in. You've had to slide in from the passenger side and slide your bum across, and it's worn the seat away. And this is the actual driver's side, and this is the equivalent damage to that we've just shown, caused by that spring base being too big in this area, and obviously that were a fault that's been on it from new. I've laid these out on that floor to estimate how much material I'd need. So I've done exactly what, like that is, that just happens to still be laid out. But I've laid it out, and then by measuring from start to finish I get a better idea of how much material to order. I can't remember what it was about 2.5 metres or each, I think, at the end of the day. Nothing's changed. That's on permanently. I don't expect to take that off again. This is on temporary, because it's got to come off and be painted. The next things to do is to paint that in black and bolt it back on, because there are two fixings, one here and one here, that actually finish up under the wood. So I can't put that body on very well till I've got them two bolts in. So one of the next jobs before I can stick that body on is to paint that. Going further back, I've spent a lot of time recently on this back axle and gearbox, and to remind you, it's got no diff and it isn't a normal drive. A normal drive is a crown wheel and pinion. This back axle, it has the gearbox in it, and these two wheels are rigidly set together. They can't run independently. If I move this one, it moves that one. This axle's solid through onto a worm wheel in the under here. Down this torque tube runs the prop shaft, through the gearbox to the worm wheel, and drives the back wheels. This thing is the drive for the speedo. So your speedo drive picked up as far away from the speedo as you could imagine it, and goes through this great long speedo cable right to the front of the speedo. I've taken the shackles that go on here and connect to that, and I'm having some new shackle pins made. Being a very cheap car, there's no bushes in here, there's no rubber bushes like you get now, no brass bushes, it's just steel on steel. And the other thing that's unusual, well, not unusual for this car, but unusual compared with a modern car, there's no shock absorbers on it either. Never were. So you start at this end, and it's marked AR, which is reverse. Obviously it's French for reverse, arrière or something like that, I would guess. So that's reverse. You move it to there, and that's one forward gear. You move it to there and click it onto that, and that says PM. I don't know what it means in French, but that's a neutral position. You then move it to there, and that's another forward gear. You then move it to there, and that's the last forward gear. So there are 3 forward gears, a neutral and 1 reverse. Additionally, we've got the handbrake. That operates on the same thing. The ratchet's under here and operates. You need it clicking. Right, if I do this, that's the normal click you get on a handbrake. And as you can see down here, it's pushing this thing. But that thing can move independent of the handbrake, so the foot brake can operate. I'll show you that later on. But obviously, if the foot brake isn't on, that's the position it to be in, and this handbrake would put it on through that rod there, which connects onto that and pulls that thing about.